And another person that helped reset Christian hip hop was that man Parris Charriz. He released a crazy banger. The world is watching. You know, we talk about the purity of the art, and the biggest thing I come away from with this is that you cannot box Parris Charriz in. What you think you got his flow down, and then the next record is a whole different type of flow. You think he sound like one person, and then he totally switches it up and he sounds like himself. You know, I think it's very interesting that they came through and they said, you know, be original. Parris Charriz is one of the most unique people in Christian hip hop, and he showed it through this project, and he was so vulnerable. He's never had moments or projects where he's not vulnerable, but it's like with each project, he's bringing you closer. He's bringing you closer. He's bringing you closer. And shouts out to him for reconciling with his dad, and now they talk and different things. I think that that's such a beautiful moment, especially for a black man. You know what I'm saying? Been in his situation. But this project definitely helped hit the reset button on CHH. How you feeling, Chris? What you think about that?
I mean, Parris Charriz has been the perfect model for consistency throughout the years as it pertains to the projects and the music that he drops. And this project, The World is Watching, is nothing short of that. Like you said, I'm listening to it, and you know, to me, it's a project that flows really well together. A complete project. Yeah. I'm a sucker for hype music, bro. And the way that the album starts off like that, just kind of like really hard in your face, like you're gonna get me every time. And I'm a sucker for flow. Parris Charriz has flow. If you want flow, he's gonna give that to you. I love a great unique cadence. Parris Charriz is always going to give a great cadence as it pertains to how he's flowing on his beats, how he writes his verses and his cadence, and using his voice as a drum to, you know, ride different beats and everything like that. Parris Charriz is incredible, bro. And if you want wave music, he's going to give that to you. If you want bars, he's going to give that to you. And he's always doing this as it pertains to this project where he's going to give you a perfect balance and a perfect mix, and it's going to be consistent across the board. I mean, 222 is hard. Like, we know that that's hard.
Is crazy,
Christian Mingles, 45 questions is crazy, bro. 45 questions is crazy. And then as you talk about,
he even got a Black Knight record.
A Black Knight, bro. The song with Black, bro. The song, the Black Knight produced joint, bro, is dope, bro. And like you said, there's songs on there where he's being vulnerable too. And to me, it's a great project. And if somebody wanted to put it as Parris Charriz's best project to date, like, I wouldn't be mad at that, bro. I may have to do that. Like, honestly, like this album is like that, bro. Like, this album is like that. And shouts out to Parris Charriz staying true to himself. And he's one of those dudes that's always going to deliver this type of music, and it doesn't matter who it is. I love the Johns where he really be like censoring himself and everything like that. And
that is the most cleverest shit that I've ever heard somebody do, bro. How do you censor yourself and you make it flow so well with the music? Like, we know what you're saying. We know what you saying.
Yeah. He said like a BT movie.
But you know what I'm saying? But you hold the word and you rhyme the other word with the word that was supposed to be there, but you didn't really say it, and you didn't push it to where it cut it out either. You stopped yourself right in a moment to flow it, bro. This nigga and being
bro, he slid, bro. He slid,
bro. It's crazy. Dave, how you feeling about this Parris Charriz project, man? I know it was a big weekend for music, but Parris Charriz dropped this The World is Watching project, man. How you feeling on that project?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Even though you initially stated when you reminded us that it dropped that it was nothing that we can do to put them in a box or compare them to anyone else or anything like that, I still couldn't help but to kind of consume this project with a comparison mindset. And it may sound crazy, but let me land. Let me say this point. Let me land with it. So first big comparison that comes to mind is looking at the fact that every 2 years Parris drops. He drops every 2 years. Somebody else that I know or we know is known for that is Kendrick Lamar. He drops about every 2 years. He's taking his time with this music. This is music that you could tell he really like locked in. He didn't just go drop whatever he came up with and it just was like, oh, it's whatever. Like this is a label obligation or just something that I'm doing to pass the time. Like you could tell that he's grown and that he's musically wanted to show that he's taking his time with his pen. The bars are there. He wasn't lackluster at the bars at all. So I kind of put him in the Kendrick mindset with that part of it. Another part is because, like you said, production wise, like he reminds me of Gucci Mane in 2006 for production wise, because Gucci Mane had different producers that he was breaking, like Zaytoven, Cassius J, like different producers that people wasn't too privy of, but it was like, oh, he like tag teaming with this producer. Because when I heard them records with Derek Miner that he did, like I looked because I heard the records, I'm like, I know this is Derek Miner making this beat. I know this is a Derek Miner influence. So I'm going on Spotify. He got me looking at the production credits. He got me looking at the composer credits. Like we back in 2006, opening the album, looking through the book, like who made this beat, who wrote this, who's involved in this production, and to me, that's how I consume the project. As far as like his production was there, like you say, wordplay was bars. Like you could tell that he didn't just put any old thing together. It was like, like he touching on certain topics. Like y'all know, y'all talking about this, whatever it may be. Like as far as smoking weed, or like you say, if I still talk about God, if I'm still rap about this and that, because we saw Parris in his early days. We saw when he was in the venue, jumping on the stage, almost breaking it in half, throwing waters inside of it, inside buildings. Like he not even outside. He throwing water bottles inside. Like. So we saw the passion for being a young Christian rapper, hungry for the gospel and rapping about the gospel and things of that nature. But now it's just straight up mature bars. Like I feel like also to throw in another thing, how everybody was talking about Jay-Z's 444 rapping was all mature and elegant.
You think that's the wall?
I think Parris is in it. Yeah, because even looking at the cover, looking at his whole image, he's wearing suits. You know, he's not snapback rapping no more. He ain't, broke. What was it? I can't think of that brand he had put on the map. Group Fly. He's not rocking them Group Fly t-shirts no more. He's straight suit and tie. Straight taper clean with the mini fro, like different swag, almost pinstripe like Taylor fit, Looking at that cover also is what made me think of Kendrick Lamar, because you look at Kendrick Lamar's covers every 2 years he dropping, and you thinking the bars don't rap the cover of this album. It doesn't match. Yeah. And then you listen and then you like, oh, this is different. Oh, nice.
Parris, one of the things that I like is kind of like what Chris said. He stayed Parris. And I think that honestly, one of the best things that probably has happened to him is him signing to RMG. Because when we talk about a Derek Miner, bro, and how he truly went up against the system, we all knew that it was something different about Derek Miner. We all knew that he didn't really fit the Reach Records mold. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all knew with Derek Miner that it was going to be temporary because of how polarizing Derek Miner was and the type of sound he wanted to bring to Christian hip hop that was not Reach Records. Like, we always praise Reach Records for being true to the sound of us, or being true to the sound of the streets. But it was a different sound that Derek Miner was bringing, and who better to really understand a Parris Charriz type artist than a Derek Miner? And I think that that's a hell of a mentor to have. And he can make the music he wants to make and reach the people that he wants to reach, and not have to worry about people looking over his shoulder trying to make sure he's saying the right thing or moving the right way. And I think that that's the best thing that somebody like a Parris Charriz could have in his corner when he's trying to make this type of music. And so them announcing, him being with and I remember hollering at Parris before he left out of here, and he was telling me that he was moving to Nashville. And, I don't think we really talk about who he's going to link up with, but then all of a sudden I see the podcast that they're doing. And I'm like, yo, like the chemistry that they have and the type of person that Derek Miner is, like, this is truly a match made in heaven. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, I couldn't be more happier for him. And so for him to drop this type of project that has no misses, that flows from from record to record, and it's banger after banger after banger. And it ain't even a banger like it's a hype banger like we talk about Magic and Bird. No, like these are melodic bangers, these are smooth bangers, these are hype bangers, these are street bangers. Like
production is there.
Record. My thing is, he the one that the crazy part about it is, bro, I didn't even know who OTS Jhoncho was until he did that Butterfly project. And he put me on, and when him and OTS, OTS Jhoncho, I think, whenever they get on a record together, bro, it is a different type of and I love it every time they get on a record together, bro. And so, these things that he wants to do, what better person to have in your corner pushing you and telling you to keep going and that you're living out your purpose than a Derek Miner. And I think that was real big for RMG and for Derek Miner to go and do that. Man, they got somebody with the, and this is a relationship that they built for years. This isn't just now and for the podcast. Like, they've been messing with each other for years. And I love the fact that, Derek Miner's always been that type. He's going to bring the real. When you talk about a Tony Tillman, like Tony Tillman, everything that we know about him and his upbringing and different things like that. You talk about a Cannon, like these are real niggas. You know what I'm saying? That he's had in his camp. And so for a Parris Charriz to be a part of that legacy, bro, like this is the perfect match when we talk about a Parris Charriz, man. And the project is phenomenal, front to back. Hella replay value. I don't think Parris
record.
I don't think Parris has ever released a record that doesn't have hella replay value. But each one, Chris, kind of like you said, is better than the next. And I can truly say that, I want to sit with it because I really want to give these artists the time. I hate giving out these crazy, outlandish reviews after only sitting with a project once or twice. You can truly be a prisoner of the moment. But this only got project, a week. But this project here specifically, I think it matches. Consistency is a great word because I think it matches the level of production and the level of quality that he breathes into his music. And, most of these niggas' first dream was to be a rapper, not a Christian rapper, a rapper. And he, along with Andy Mineo and Words Played, truly show and continue to show that I'm a rapper first. Like God, like God, like my calling. I'm going to preach the gospel. I'm going to do all of this, but understand, you will get these bars. Understand, I rap. And, not to say nobody else isn't doing that. I'm just saying that this was a breath.
You can hear the passion, and you can hear the passion. I had a moment like that too, where I honestly was thinking about, I can hear Parris's voice. I can hear him closing his eyes and veins popping out his neck. When he almost kissing the mic, he looking like the Biggie Smalls actor on Notorious Biopic, spit flying all everywhere,
Single Jesus.
Yeah, man. They like, yo, back up, please. Can you back up from the mic, please?
Yeah. So now big shouts out to Parris Charriz. It's kind of crazy. I remember when they released that song Parris, not released the song Parris, but when they released the song Praise with What Up RG, and he was on that record. And on the unreleased version, the one that wasn't officially released through Reach, it had the word holes in it. But then when Reach released it, he had to censor himself and he couldn't say it. But that was kind of the beginning of him kind of getting around what he wanted. Then we started hearing him say jiggers a lot, and kind of getting real creative in his music. And I remember Derek Miner saying one time, like, man, y'all got to figure the secret sauce out. Like, you mean to tell me all you got to do is change a couple words in order for you to get the bag? Like, that's easy. Make it work. But some of these people are selfish and stubborn and different things like that, where they're not going to do that. And speaking of things like that, Derek Miner and Parris Charriz officially had to place disclaimers before their podcast, to say that pod, because they had an incident where they said shit live on air, and the Christians were mad at him of that. Do you think it's fair or foul? Either one of y'all, do y'all think it's fair or foul? Well, I'll start with you, Dave, that they actually had to do this. Should they not be able to create in a space and create in a way that they want to create? Or do you think it's a smart route to go to do this, to try to prepare those that think that they're safe enough or that this thing is safe enough for them to listen to?
I believe that disclaimer is something that is a protection for them, so that the way they don't have to keep reiterating the same point and
This is for mature audiences.
Exactly. Exactly. Because we personally, all three of us know, because we had, conversations early on. We started the hip hop corner together about, hey, are we going to talk a certain way, or are we going to clean up our vocabulary? And half of us was like, we should clean it up, and the other half of us was like, nah, nigga, we gonna talk how we want to talk. This us. Ain't nobody gonna change how we talk. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna change us. This us. We us because we us. And if they don't like it, they ain't gotta watch it.
Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, and it's not obvious to see.
That was definitely you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be specific on who was who, but it's not obvious to tell. But I just feel like that us personally going through that, it was their way of showing, okay, we can clean up our act, but this is going to be the way we do it, by putting that disclaimer in front of every episode. That way we don't have these phone calls and emails and comments like, I would have listened, but at 1.32 seconds you said the word hell in the most demeaning way, and because John chapter 2 verse 32 says this and that, I can no longer subscribe, so I'll unsubscribe from y'all. Like, because of that stuff like that, of course.
I just hate it, bro, because there are shows, the Pat McAfee show on ESPN, they have to put a disclaimer up to say that, hey, we in no way, shape, and form like are really affiliated. We're just basically hosting this show, and their views are their views. But this constantly points to the fact of Christian hip hop, I hate to say it, is a kid's genre. Is that not right, Chris? Because that's what they said. Hey, I got my kids in the car. I was listening to it, and I thought it was safe to listen to. But if you've heard any of their topics, like, they're not saying, what is your kid learning from the type of topics that they're covering when they're talking about business, or they're talking about how people are moving in Christian hip hop, or come on. I mean, you should have known from that it wasn't necessarily for your kid. I don't even let my kids listen to Gil's Arena, and they just talking about sports, but I know what I'm getting into. But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think that the disclaimer, like Daddy was saying, as it pertains to protection, I think that is smart. Hey, at the end of the day, we all know that what Parris Charriz and Derek Miner stand for as it pertains, and for the most part, this is a family show. For the most part, a lot of these shows I feel like can be family shows, but at the end of the day, adults will speak like adults at times. And so you may hear something. I know you definitely gonna hear it on our show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Data was saying, you don't hear it on our show. And so, we would have to put those particular stamps on our content if they went out to the masses like that. So I can understand Derek Miner and Parris Charriz having to do that. And it's only smart at the end of the day. That way you run into nobody who's shocked or surprised. And those people can make those decisions before they get deep into the content, before they dive deep into the content.
Take this a different way. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to us. Derek Miner has been out of the Christian hip hop spotlight for years. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean that nobody's checking for him. I'm just saying the way that he's aligned himself. We said this earlier. Derek Miner has always been the more edgy one. He's always been the one that's going to give you like raw stuff from the streets. He went and released a project. I can't remember what it's called, but he had a record on there with Petty, one of the ones that we know really was in there like that. You know what I'm saying? It gave us raw street records from back in the day. So those are the people that he always was drawn to, the people like a Thizzle. He was always drawn to those type of people. And so I don't think it's fair that they have to do that. If you were along the journey, if you were a true fan, back to us, if you are a true person that really walked with us, when we started kind of getting to the point of being as free as we are now. I shouldn't have to say anything. If you were true and you were a fan and you followed my journey, you would have already known, hey, I still like what they do, but they've kind of went a more mature route and, let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll listen to it when I'm by myself. Why do I have to take the extra step? Whatever, it ain't that much, but why do I have to do that? Because if you were truly a person who liked me and truly a person who listened to what I said, you knew that this was already the way that we were going. Yeah. So,
well, the thing about it,
Gil's Arena doesn't have to put a disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these podcasts a lot of these 520, do 520 put a disclaimer?
Nah, because
you know what I'm saying?
I think it's more so kind of like if you comparing barbershop talk to like church talk, because people are watching this and they're thinking like, is this going to be Christian related? This is a Christian artist known for making gospel records in certain people's eyes, you know. So I mean, I feel like they watching it with the expectation of like this is going to be clean conversation. That's almost asking the same thing with Crazy Deep in podcast. Just because certain language isn't being used doesn't mean that the conversation isn't still considered edgy, you know. So I just are we talking conversation topic wise, or are we talking about
but they
language?
Touch on everything when you listen to their podcast. They touch on everything, and I'm not sure that there's if you were paying attention, if you were just paying attention, like I was worried when I first saw that they were getting into a podcast together. I was like, damn, I know Parris for real. And I don't know which Parris we're about to get on the podcast. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all of these Christian rappers, I ain't just going to point it to Parris, but all of these Christian rappers, like I know these people in real life. Like which version are we going to get of them? And I'm the type, I'll turn you off if I'm not getting the version that I see in real life, which is the reason why we are the way that we are. Because I know those people. Like if I'm not getting the real, bro, because I know what the real is, bro, and you fake right now, and I didn't see you as a fake person, so I didn't know. But when I started seeing little clips here and there, I was like, oh, they the same niggas. Bet. Shouts out to Derek Miner who just hit us in the DM. Love Derek Miner. It's always been love with some encouraging words. Thanks, Derek Miner, because you are a real nigga. And you are somebody we've always rocked with because of your truth and how raw that you are.
Straight up.
You know when
we was going to concerts and he didn't know who the hell we were in the crowd, like you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's how
like you know what I'm saying? He's always been one to rock with us. I wish that we could actually get an interview where the audio ain't messed up, but you know, it is what it is, bro. We just struck out like 3 times with Derek Miner, but he's always been one. Even in those moments, he supported us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it just, like I said, I think that's the best move for it. I don't think it's fair that Christian hip hop in general makes people do that. Why can't we grow in public and just move? I don't think Craze ever had to do that. I think, not unless you want to count some of the videos he made, you know, I remember when he was releasing Church Clothes 1 and he was like, hey, I just want to let everybody know that this record is not for the church, that this album is not for the church at all. Even though the whole album was riddled with a Christian message. But he was like, hey, this album ain't for the church. And he was kind of giving that heads up. But, you know, I like it when people could. If it was a sudden switch, maybe. You know, if you just one day popped up and started cussing, okay, yes, put that disclaimer out at that point. But you shouldn't have to have the disclaimer up for every episode, every show, everything. Derek Miner's been doing this type of music or being this type of person for years now. Parris Charriz has been this type of nigga for years now. So why did you think that you were going to get anything else out of that podcast?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, seriously, Magic and Birds podcast. Them niggas is trolling people on that podcast. Did you think you were going to get anything else? For real? Like when you think about the music they made together, come on, bro. So miss me with that. I just don't agree with that.
Gotta grow with the artist.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to grow with the artist.
You gotta grow with the artist.
That's when people start that, we want the old Derek Miner back. We want the, and that's when they be like, go listen to that. I think
they might have asked for the old Derek Miner back for like a good solid 2 years, and then they was good because he was not playing when it came to came to a lot of that, man. You know, we've had to deal with it too, but you know, I like staying true to who we are because you're not making me feel guilty. Sorry. I know the journey that I'm on. I know who I'm trying to reach. I know what I'm trying to do, and you ain't gonna get in the way of that. So